Hello, it's Tuesday, obviously, because, I don't know, because I'm doing Raid Finder, and I only do it on Tuesdays, because that's when the bulk of people are doing it. And so, yeah. So anyways, things have been feeling a little off lately. I don't know really what it's all about. Feels like the routine's been broken, and and the closest thing I can think of is the fact that until yesterday there wasn't anything wrong with the routine, but I didn't know until yesterday that the roommate had time off, and that kind of screws with my routine. But how do you request and nearly require routine so much around you and not control every aspect of people's lives? You could ask them. I've tried asking. I've asked people to do a lot of things, but they just don't. It doesn't dawn on them. They don't think of it. Because it's not something they do. And I ran into that with the boyfriend when we first got together. Sure, yeah, I can do this thing you asked me to do as long as it fits in with what I would normally do or what I feel is important to do. And so, I don't know. It's not that I feel slighted in any way. I don't know how to deal with the fact that other people don't need nor require as much routine as, say, me. In fact, there are some people I know that don't even understand routine. They're just completely baffled by the fact that the same thing can happen every single day at the exact same time. Pardon me, everything looks fuzzy on my side, so I'm going to wipe in front of the camera. That made it worse. Oh, okay then. Well, apparently I don't know everything. Hang on, let me see. Much better. Close to. Things are clearer than they were before. Anyways, hopefully that didn't hit any of the speakers, because the camera's on the side with the earpiece, not the microphone. So, maintenance of my camera. I don't know. Just things, like I said, things have seemed off. I also realized today that presidential cycles drastically affect my mood to no end. Because even at the ripe old age of 31, I was able to vote in the 2000 election, and 2004, and 2008, but because I didn't switch my driver's license over to this new state, I can't actually vote here. And my previous state has already rescinded it because they realized that I lived here. Oh, and it probably would have lasted for about a good while before they noticed, but it's a presidential year, so they were going through and making sure that all their voter information was correct. Because they don't want to have to go through a recount like a Florida thing or an Ohio. I think I'm hiccuping because I ate an entire loaf of sourdough. So, yeah. Itch. And especially when it comes down to the presidential ones, is when I realize that the people around me are very disparate in what they think. Now that seems like very basic knowledge, but I don't want anyone to not get along. That's why I have trouble watching The View sometimes, is because I listen to, Whoopi and Sherry and Barbara, and now, and Joy, and sometimes Elizabeth will come by and she'll say something that's from the far right end of the spectrum that doesn't even agree with the other four, but she stands firm in her belief, and she's okay with being different. And that's what really bugs me. People are okay with being different. In fact, they're taking points of pride in being different, being not of the normal, the mainstream. Anyways, so, and the same thing works with, the people around me. It even brings into account, into my head that people around me don't agree with one another. And that worries me to no end, because the paranoia kicks in. Did I pick wrong people? Did they, do I have to reevaluate things? Because obviously the people aren't getting along. And I don't know how to fix it. Because if people aren't getting along, they disagree on something. It's pretty much how it is. And if they disagree on something, let's find a compromise. They can't. They almost don't want to find a compromise. They're much happier sitting in their beliefs. Their beliefs. Things that aren't necessarily true, but they can't prove otherwise. And it sounds sad to think of a belief as that. Because when most people think of belief, they think of religion. But really, that's what belief is. It's accepting something as the limit as zero approaches fact. The limit of zero as zero approaches fact. Or the limit of x as x approaches fact. Because there's nothing telling you otherwise. There's nothing more concrete otherwise. And that's the problem, is that on some things, there is no other way to say it. There is no other side. But there's no proof of it. So people believe this is the way it should be, but they don't think logically. Yeah, I can turn the Republican or Democrat parties into simple calculus, but they just don't. Nobody wants to think logically about things because, as the boyfriend has told me multiple times, the truth hurts. And people value their emotions far more than they do of the truth. They don't want to get hurt. It's understandable. But the truth should always, always be penultimate to everything. Whether it hurts or not, it doesn't matter. The truth has been told. The obvious has been stated. Because I know a lot of neurotypicals don't like to state the obvious because of social convention and etiquette for emotion. Now, I understand there are some things that shouldn't be stated unless it was asked for. Such as like, does this dress make me look fat? Well, that's a pining, that's a trawling question. They're looking for the answer they want. Which, regardless of fact, they want to be said No. And I feel bad. The thought of saying no when it's, not true is, it hurts. It hurts to voluntarily tell lies. I mean, I used to as a teenager, and I regret it terribly. But Gildy was talking, so I was keeping up on the conversation. So that's what that's about, And sometimes you may need to overstate things just a little bit for greater clarification. Does this dress make me look fat? Well, if it does, you say yes. That's NPC scan, by the way. I should probably quit flying around because it recently wiped itself. So I'm going to be getting a lot of those guys. Or I can just mute my speakers. There we go. Don't cater to the emotions, because that just brings in the vicious cycle of people pandering to other people's emotions for the sake of social etiquette. Now, I know that social etiquette is something that me and other Aspies lack, because we don't understand it. But I listened to a little radio show that was pre-recorded sort of thing on YouTube that called Asperger's in society the bell ringers, the name callers, no, the whistleblowers, and in The Emperor's New Clothes, everyone walks around, he walks around town and he's duped into thinking these are the most fabulous clothes because he sees himself as the most fabulous, and everyone else sees him as so fabulous, but he's naked. And finally one kid, and this can be likened to an Aspie, says, but he's naked. He's not wearing any clothes. He's a whistleblower. And if anything, that might be my gift, is the fact that I am willing to whistleblow on things. The problem is I don't take human emotion into account. It's fickle. It changes from person to person. There's nothing set in stone about emotions. Some people can laugh at one thing, whether it be an honest-to-God laugh, a nervous laugh, or kind of a scared defense mechanism laugh. Kind of can be a nervous laugh. But that's, and it's like, okay, so you've got laughing. But it can mean different things for multiple people, because that's emotions for you. They're fickle. They're not rigid from person to person. At least their reactions. Technically, a person being angry and a person being and a person A being angry and person B being angry, relatively the same thing. Anger is anger, but they're not going to get angry about the same things. And this is what comedians have to deal with all the time. Who is going to laugh? What's the greatest percentage of people that laugh, and what's the minimal percentage of people getting angry or having negative emotions on the whole thing? And that's really what it is, And if you understand emotions, you can toy with them a little bit. Gray clouds out of frickin' nowhere. Love the weather up here. Anyways, as I don't like toying with emotions because I know how much you neurotypicals have invested in them. And I don't know why you have so much invested in them. It's probably because you all don't control them very well. But you let your lives get ruled by them. You don't even try, it seems. It's like, oh, I'm going to be angry. Let's stay angry at something. No, don't stay angry at something. Think it through. Yeah, I was crying yesterday a lot, but I was really trying to think through what this problem was. I did not have all the information, but I was letting fear rule me and not going out and asking questions. Mainly because I have a history of being fearful of asking questions, because they're very thorough questions, and they're very straightforward questions, and it's more or less along the lines of truth hurts. You know, I noticed something. Why did you do this? Oh, I didn't even know I did that. Well, yeah, you did. Why did you do this? Well, I don't know. And then they realize that the truth is they don't know why they did something. They just did it. And they didn't even notice they did it. They did something so unconscious. And now I'm asking questions about it, and they feel bad that they don't know what they did. So they get defensive, and that gets people angry, rather than thinking about what it was. We're like, oh, well, I did this, blah, blah, blah. This is apparently why I did this. The boyfriend's learned to do that. I asked him, why did you do that? You know, and he already, the first part of that conversation, I didn't know I did that. Yeah, you did. You did it at this time in response to, it looked to be in response to this one. Oh, well, and then he can surmise as to why he did it, because obviously he doesn't keep a tally as to why he does things. Well, neurotypicals don't have that kind of brain power that I've noticed. They don't have the forethought to think constantly about things they're doing. It just naturally flows out of some arbitrary part of their mindset. It's really dark. Hopefully the news will have their new thing up today, and I can see how great this new weather displaying thing's going to be, considering we just had gray clouds come out of nowhere. Frelling nowhere. Sci-fi reference. Gonna put it in the tags so that maybe people can, when they search for it, just a little hide in. I've also put, you know, my location in on the tags every once in a while for the daily blog, because no one can see the tags that I know of. And if you can figure out where I'm at, or not. And if you can't find the tags at all, okay, then, you know, people are going to search for, I don't know, blogs around here, and they're going to find my thing. But, you know, as I've noticed over the past month, it does take a while to get noticed, but once you get noticed, things kind of snowball from there. I mean, I don't know if I should say his name. Call him the little Asian boy. And I say boy because he's called me old man. I'm like, I'm 31. I ain't an old man, but he considers me old. And I probably consider, at his age, I probably consider people old too. But now that I'm 31, I'm not old. I don't even look 31. I've seen people with profile pictures because I wanted to, you know, get a general idea. So I went to, you know, dating sites and just looked in the exact range of 31 and saw what guys looked like. I still look like a child compared to them. You know, could it be my incredibly clean shaven face? Well, not right now. It's got a little stubble on it. You know, is the fact that I don't have a burned up skin from such another thing? Whoa. Yeah, there's been a light difference since I started this. I can see it in the camera. I'm not sure if it's going to be noticed because it does its thing. Yeah, I have lots to talk about. Anyways, I'm kind of combining this one in with the video I was going to make later. But now that the sky is getting darker faster in 20 minutes. Remember, this light level's gone down that much in 20 minutes. So that's what's going on. So I'm going to get back to doing Shado-pan dailies or something. Head the last boss in Raid Finder. And see where my things go from there. So anyways, I will talk with y'all later. Should probably Apparently the roommate also has vacation tomorrow, but at least I know what to expect it tomorrow. Yesterday I don't remember much of what happened. So, yeah. So I didn't know that she was also had vacation today. But now I know today that she has vacation tomorrow. But, yeah. I don't know. I'm just a little weirded out about sudden vacation. Makes me think, disciplinary action at work, but putting a good spin on it. Anyways, yeah, talk to you all later, or you one later. You know who you are.